everyone, this is my fan reaction to tonight's game, Sligo Rovers v Shelbourne. What can I say, to be honest? It was pathetic, diabolical, lacklustre. From the first minute to the last minute, we looked like we were not going to score a goal. Couldn't string 3 passes together. Very, very disappointing considering the start we've had to the season. Some absolutely fantastic performances. To see what I've seen tonight, it's scary. Very disappointing. Overall, not really a lot of positives to take. I thought Paddy Kirk, when he came on in the second half, was very good. He's continuing to impress me. Hamilton as well. Look, he's been a very good signing. Everything went wrong for us today though. Keane going off injured as well early on in the first half, didn't help. So look, it's going to be interesting to see our reaction on Tuesday against Bohs. I thought Shelbourne, look, they won the game. They had some chances, probably had more chances than us, but overall I didn't really think that they were that great either. I thought it was a very poor game of football. That pitch it's in terrible condition. Ball was bobbling every 2 minutes. It's hard for players to play on it, I understand that. But look, that's no excuse at all for what we've seen tonight. I thought it was an absolutely pathetic performance. Rested a couple of players. I don't understand how Niall Moran didn't even come on off the bench. He's been our best player this season so far, or one of them. Paddy Kirk deserves to be starting in these games. Yeah, look, it is what it is. Hopefully we can take this one on the chin now and bounce back. 2 home games next week, Bohs and UCD. Hopefully we can get some 6 points out of those 2 games because, yeah, it's disappointing, very disappointing.
Hi Keith, went up to the City game versus Wexford last night. A hard-fought 1-0 victory. It was one of those games where I would say that it's one of those games where I'd say that the lads earned their wages. It was a really tough game for City, and it was probably a game, like I always say as well, where fellas kind of, you know, if you want to be competing in the league, you need fellas to stand out and show up for themselves. It was a very scrappy game last night. City had chances, but they didn't. Like, they hit a lot of stuff over the bar. Wexford had their chances too. But when it came to resilience last night, I thought Ali Gilchrist was outstanding last night. Like I said about him, I never really knew anything about him before he joined us. But last night he was outstanding. Just outstanding defending, just very solid at the back. And I thought Keane Bargary was outstanding as well for City. Like, a lot of the game was kind of hustle and bustle around midfield last night, and City had to kind of rely on a lot of breaks and just try and take the pressure off him, because Wexford played a lot of pressure on him. And when they sent the ball out to Bargary, you know, he just got the ball and ran. He was just going past fellas like they weren't there, and he just kept going right into the corner just to give City that kind of give them a breath, just to catch their breath, because Wexford put them under a lot of pressure. City scored early again in the game, a ball from Bargary into the far post, and Cian Murphy headed it in. It looked a soft enough goal to give away, actually. I'd say Paul Hunt will be disappointed with himself. I think for Wexford last night, the chap Doherty, is he Jack Doherty, number 10, he looks a lovely player. He kind of reminds me of Barry Bannon that played in England or Aston Villa. Like, a lovely low centre gravity, lovely on the ball with his left foot. Connor Davis put in a good shift as well for Wexford. But as I said, if City are to push this year or try and get promoted automatically or go into the playoffs or whatever way it goes, definitely last night will be one of those games where they look back on. And I think Colin Healy will be happier probably with last night's game than he will with the 3-1 in Athlone last week, because when City went 3-up last week, they got they just got very ragged and kind of lost the shape, and I suppose, look, that can happen too when you're scoring early in games, whereas last night they scored early and they had to be resilient for the rest of the game. So I would say like the lads will go in afterwards, especially Colneely and the management staff and Richie Holland and them, and they'll say, "Oh, that was one of those games last night where you can look back on later in the season if things go City's way," and they'll say that was a big 3 points last night. The pitch looked very well. Oh, I don't know what it was like from the telly, but I was there level with it, and it looked fantastic. Very bouncy though, but a nice. My first time up in that ground, Ferry Carrick Park, and lovely ground, and very welcoming and lovely people there. So yeah, a great 3 points and a nice end to the first series of games, or the first group of games in the first series. Thanks, Keith.
How's it going? Just back from Richmond Park after Drogheda's 1-1 draw with St. Pat's. Look, we'll take a draw. Obviously, look, a bit disappointed we didn't win, to be fair. We had a better team in that first half by a mile. Dale Rooney, great finish. Just went past the nine to go to make it 1-0. The absolute scenes from us tonight, it was fantastic to support. All around. Brilliant tonight for us in a way. Obviously, get the draw against St. Pat's, who we all know what could be up there with title contenders, and for us, they'd obviously get a draw and keep us further away from the bottom of the table. I think that's well needed. The equaliser, just a lack of concentration at the back, and then Darryl Bonds from left wing just comes in and sticks into the bottom corner. So look, obviously it's disappointing when you concede a goal like that, but at the same time when you draw to a team like I said who's fighting for the league, I think it's fantastic for us. We kept him there for 90 minutes. Darren Nugent and Dale Rooney and probably Georgie Point as well have been impressive since obviously the last few games. They haven't been really up to speed. But tonight, even from the Dog game as well, they were just phenomenal. They were just showing what they can do, and we have plenty of games still to go. And if the team's getting better, the team's getting better by a mile compared to what it was a few games ago. And if we can keep doing performances like that tonight and Dundalk, we could do well this year. I'm not going to say obviously be up there for Europe, but we have a good chance there of obviously staying up. But yeah, look, I'm delighted with the game now, and we have Harps on Monday night up in Ballybuffet, and then we have Bohs at home. So hopefully we get the 3 points against Harps. Hopefully we get some as well against Bohs. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Alright, everyone, Keith asked me to do a post-match reaction for the game between Rovers and Harps last night. We won 3-0 on the night up in Finn Park. The first goal came in the 45th minute. Andy Lyons' little flick head off from a corner. I think it was Graham Burke that whipped in. Good for Lyons to get his first goal for Rovers. Second goal of the night came from Andy Lyons again in the 79th minute. I don't know who played it out to him, but he couldn't side again. Ronaldo chopped it and then curled it into the right hand side of the goal. Beautiful goal and well celebrated. And then the third goal of the night came from a penalty from Graham Burke in the 87th minute. That was scored in the 85th minute. Anthony McGinley, the Harps goalkeeper, got sent off at clean. Now, Rory Gaffney went through. He was throwing goal. He could have lobbed the keeper, but decided to go around him and it was cleaned out. So it was definite penalty and a definite red. I know the double jeopardy rule could have been used there, but I had to look into that myself. Oh no, it was a good game. Like, Harps started off well. Rovers started off well in the first half. Harps had 3 or 4 chances. One that I can remember that was with no was a shot. I think it was about 15-20 minutes in. We all thought on the away end that was gonna go wide, but it curled at the last minute and hit the post. Al would have been beaten if it would have been properly on target. He would have been beaten because he just stood and watched as it hit the post. Rovers had a few chances in the first half. Then we obviously took ours with the Andy Lyons goal. But yeah, it was a good 3-0 win. Like, we were happy on the 4 hours up, 4 hours back. Good crack with the Harps fans outside the centre in Ballybuffet after the game. But it just shows how there's no trouble between us and Harps because we're treated like humans. But yeah, it was a good game. My standout player for Rovers last night was Andy Lyons. I thought Pico played well as well. Lee played well until he got subbed off for Sean Gannon. It was great to see Sean Kavanagh get a few minutes last night. He got about 5. I think he subbed on the 88th minute and those 3 minutes added on. So about 5 minutes. Like, it was good to see him back playing. Aaron Green also came on for Rovers, and Dylan Watts. So that was obviously Mandrew was left on the bench as well as Frugia. And Oilmo Maku came on, I forgot about him. Apologies about that. But yeah, all in all, like, it's a good game. Rovers played well. We didn't really have to get out of second gear, like, we played well. But there's a massive 4 weeks coming up now. We have Shells next Friday, Pats after that, then Dundalk the Monday after that, and then Bohs. It's massive. We should be looking at, well, I don't want to say we should be looking at 12 points, but the incentive is 12 points, because looking at Derry last night, at Bohs, like, getting last minute winners, doing what we done last year, they're going to give us a challenge this year. I don't believe we've started going yet, but I do think if we do start going, there's going to be a title race this year, because Derry look too good. But all in all, 3 points, 3-0 win, good trip for 8 hours round trip, like, all in all. But yeah, it was worth it, and hopefully we.
Alright, folks, bringing you another Derry City fan review after another fantastic 2-1 win away at Bohemians at Dalymount Park. For the third time this season and the second game in a row, Derry City pick up all 3 points thanks to a stoppage time winner. This time it came from James Akintunde after he came on as a substitute, replacing Brandon Kavanagh. The game started, Bohs started brightly in the game, testing Brian Maher early on. Great long range strike from Horton, the centre half, which was brilliantly tipped over by Brian Maher. Incidentally, it was his punch clear that it fell to the Bohemians man, and he tipped it over. Derry came in the game a wee bit, created a few half chances, but nothing really to threaten Talbot. Bohs with a lovely team goal, pass and move, finished off brilliantly by Liam Burt. As the first half grew on, Derry started to come in as Bohemians started to retreat. Jamie McGonigal testing James Talbot from distance, but Talbot was more than equal to it and tipped it round the post. Half time came, Derry made a substitution. Will Patson made way for Patrick McElhinney, who in the second half absolutely dictated the play. He was instrumental in getting Derry equaliser. He played the ball forward, over the top. Before the ball was laid back to Cameron McJanet, who crossed for Ronan Boyce, making a darting run at the back post to get ahead of the defender and make it 1-1. From that point forward, Derry really did look like they were going to go on and win the game. Bohs did have a couple of half chances. Liam Burt with a scuffed effort on the edge of the box, which rolled into the hands of Brian Maher. But Derry kept pushing right into the end. There was a foul on McGonigal on the left wing. Patrick McElhinney took a free kick, whipped it in, flicked on at the near post, and Akintunde was there to head past James Talbot, who did appear to get a hand on it. It's another 3 points for Derry. It's 4 wins on the spin. Next up is a away game against UCD, which is their game in hand. And look, a fantastic start, and long may it continue. Thank you.
Full time, and it's Blues 1, Longford 1. Look, we deserved to lose that game. I mean, I was waiting until the post-match interview came out. I thought Ian Morris might have had a lucid moment and realised his tactics aren't working, but that didn't happen. I want to address some of the comments he made. That first of all, that the first half was two teams going at it, and it clearly wasn't. It was one of the worst games of football I've ever seen. It was a collaborative effort, but the fact is that we couldn't beat a team that was really playing subpar. All they had to do was wait for the opportunity to come along, and they did, and they took their chance well. But that was all that happened. We made a very average team look exceptional by playing so poorly, and that's a really depressing thing. He said that Yaz and Junior played exceptionally. To be fair to Junior and Richard Taylor as well, I thought they both had good games. But look, this is not a platform for me to personally attack the players. But Yaz had an awful game, alright? And it seems to me that Ian Morris favours him over the other players because he knows who he is. because there's no way he's justifying a place in the team with the performances he's putting in. The fact that Anthony Wordsworth wasn't even in the team tonight, he wasn't listed as injured. The rumour is that he's fallen out with the manager, and I believe those rumours, to be honest. I don't see us winning the league with this manager. I don't see us getting promoted. If we keep playing this football, it doesn't seem like he's going to change. So if the tactics don't change, well, the manager has to. That's my view on the situation.
Hi guys, full time in the Athlone Town Stadium. Athlone Town won, Bray Wanderers won, and a bit of a game of two halves. Bray absolutely dominated the first half and Derry took the lead in the opening period. Cork was won, played through, and he put the ball past Michael Shamrock. So 1-0 to Bray at the break, and second half. Bray managed seemed to change it up, and Callum Thompson, who was absolutely playing brilliantly on the right hand side, was switched to the left, and it seemed the game changed after this. Athlone came back into the game and they started to press Bray a little bit more, and Alua got through, a simple ball through the Bray defence, and he put the ball into the net. It didn't help that Hugh Douglas went off with a head injury. He seemed to have the team and the back four aligned and playing well, but unfortunately he wasn't there for the second half, and it did stick out a mile. The organisation wasn't there that was there first half, and as I said, a simple ball through and Alua, he put the ball with Stephen McGuinness, and it was 1-1, and after that Bray didn't really press that much. There was a couple of substitutions. Curtis Bourne came off, Rob Manning came off, so it didn't go to Bray's way, and Athlone probably deserved a little bit more in the second half than what they got. So Bray, the record on the road was quite good this season, but 1-1, and obviously Athlone are now off the mark. I did say it last week, we didn't want to be the team that kind of allowed Athlone to get off the mark, and their first point of the season. So not a good result for Bray on the road. Given their first half performance, they were quite good, and they're playing the ball around and playing a bit of football, but unfortunately they come away from Athlone with a 1-1 draw, and it was looking good. During the playoffs, I know it's early days, but during the playoffs from the first half performance and the first half result, but we move on next week and play Treaty United in the Carlisle. So final score: Athlone Town 1, Bray Wanderers 1.
Final score from Finn Park this evening: Shamrock Rovers 3, Finn Harps 0. Very convincing one by Shamrock Rovers, who played, I don't think they got out of second gear, to tell you the truth. I thought that they played really well. 2 goals by Andy Lyons, I think it's his first goals for the club, and then a late penalty by Gary Burke. Harps' performance this evening, they battled hard, but they just didn't get the rub of green. I thought Conor Tourish was our man of the match this evening. Again, they made a few great saves in the first half, and then he got a send off in the second half. Felt at times he made against Bohs, a couple of decisions didn't go our way, but maybe I'm just being biased as a Harps fan. A couple of big games now coming up now this week ahead. Drogheda, it's like a relegation battle, a 6-pointer, and then our old friends Derry City next Saturday, who are top tonight after beating Bohs 2-1. Overall, disappointed, but bigger games coming up. All I can say is up the Harps.